What is good, everybody? Welcome back to another Saturday morning stream. Not really Saturday morning. I guess it's morning for our West Coast peeps, but for the East Coast, we're more so a lunchtime, Saturday afternoon type of stream. But that being said, look, guys, we are going to be doing this every single Saturday of the season. We are going to be doing some underdog drafts. More specifically, we're going to be drafting a couple of these Battle Royale Week 2 lineups. So really, we're just focusing on the main slate here in Week 2. While we are drafting these, or in between the teams that we are drafting, I am going to be answering some fantasy football questions. I think that's the best way for this whole thing to go. So, that being said, look, I don't really want to waste any time before we hop into this first draft. We do have the first one. We're going to pull it up on the screen as we speak. You guys can see Battle Royale Week 2. We are doing that main slate, like I mentioned. So, this is the way that we do it. Looking at I don't know why it always scrolls that way. Looking at this, if you guys have never done a Battle Royale, fairly simple. It's a half PPR, 4-point passing touchdown. You draft one quarterback, one running back, two wide receivers, one flex, one tight end. There you go. Very simple, very easy. That's what we're doing here today. So we are going to be drafting that team. As I mentioned, if you guys are watching this, obviously there is some college football on right now. So if you're choosing to watch this over college football, you're the GOAT. I appreciate you. If you have any questions for me, let me know. But other than that, we're just going to be drafting, and we do have the 101 here in this today. So as you can see, I have my rankings for the main slate only. This is not the weekly rankings. Keep that in mind. But this is for the main slate. I went through and ranked them today, so we can just pull guys strictly off of our ranking. And as you can see, my number one player is going to be Breece Hall. He will be our first selection here. And as I have found, at least for me, as I've been doing these, I kind of like to go with the two running backs, two wide receivers, a tight end, and a quarterback. I kind of like having the running back in the flex because you get some guaranteed production and there's some good running back value deeper on in the draft. So that's what we're going to be doing here today. Unfortunately, I don't think there's a lot of elite wide receivers. We dip off pretty hard after Lamb, Amon-Ra, and Kupp. That's just the way that I see it, at least. So maybe we'll get one of those guys, maybe not. If not, it's no big deal. We can grab a guy like Mike Evans. But like I said, first pick here, we're going to get Breece Hall. It's not going to be very often that we're going to be able to draft him today, so we will take Breece, and we'll keep on going. Cooper Kupp, he was the next guy picked, so it makes a lot of sense. He's going to get a ton of usage while Puka Nacua is out, and Puka's going to be out for probably the next 4, 5, 6 weeks is what I'm hearing. So that is going to kind of be the way we view Cooper Kupp moving forward for at least the next month and a half as a top 3 wide receiver in the NFL. It looks like Polish is not going to be able to get this one in, but we'll see what happens. Excuse me. Look, these people are going to draft a little bit slow, it looks like. I was ready. Maybe I was just eager. Maybe I'm the only one that's super excited to do this draft here today, out of all of these folks. But then we had all the wide receivers come off the board: Kupp, Lamb, Jefferson, Brown. It's gonna be a while till we get back. Hopefully we can get a Rashid, Jamar Chase, Mike Evans. Those would be one of my picks. If not, I'm more than comfortable taking a running back here, and then just taking shots on our wide receivers later. All these wide receivers are coming off the board, though. Maybe it's just because that running back position is so deep. So maybe we do take one of these wide receivers. If we can get Chase somehow at the turn, that would be elite. Maybe even get a guy like Mike Evans, who I think is going to have a good week this week. We'll see what we can do here, but I think Mike Evans and Chase might be the way that I want to go here if we can get it. There goes Evans. Watch, Chase is going to go right here just because I said it. We'll see. I do see we got a question here from Mole Rat. Also, I see the Kobe Bryant profile pick. Love the Kobe Bryant pick. I'm going to answer that right after we get to after we pick our two picks here because we have a little bit of a turn. So I'll answer it right after we get there. What's we got going on, man? Garrett Wilson off the board. So we will take Jamar Chase. That's fine. The offense didn't look great. And then why don't we go with... We'll go same game. We'll take Isaiah Pacheco. He'll be our pick. So we'll have those two, or that's kind of how we're going to start off this team. Mole Rat says, Thoughts on Pacheco and Deontay for Jonathan Taylor? I don't mind you trading Pacheco and Deontay for Jonathan Taylor. I think Pacheco's going to be good this year. Um, have him on quite a bit of teams, but I think Jonathan Taylor is a little bit better. And Deontay Johnson, unfortunately, he kind of looks like a player that you're going to be debating on whether or not he makes the flex or whether he's left on your bench most weeks. So in that case, I don't mind you, throwing Deontay in to go upgrade from Pacheco to Taylor. So I think that's a solid move for you. So as we come back around, we already have the running back, so we can't be taking running back anymore. That's just something we can't do because we won't be able to play them. So we need to kind of look at where we're at here. Obviously, in this type where we're only drafting one quarterback, one tight end, I'm going to wait for my last two picks to be those positions. We don't need to, reach on them early. So we'll just take who we can get. It doesn't really matter to me. I have no preference. I do kind of want Malik Neighbors. I'm high on Malik Neighbors this week. I think this matchup against Washington is really good for him. I think he's going to be able to perform and produce. And I know a lot of people are scared of Daniel Jones playing quarterback, and I think rightfully so. Daniel Jones doesn't look great, but this Washington defense looks horrible. They look like a defense that wide receivers are going to eat against all year long. And so I made Malik Neighbors my start of the week. As I say that, he goes off the board, but I made him one of my starts of the week at the wide receiver position this week. I think he's going to play really good game here, and I wouldn't have mind drafting him there in that matchup. But McBride off the board, Gibbs off the board. I don't mind taking Ayuk. I don't mind taking Godwin. I don't mind taking Olave. These are all kind of picks that I don't mind taking here. That being said, we'll see what we can end up doing. We are going to have to take our next, tight end probably after this one, so we can get our choice of that. But I'll take Ayuk. Maybe he gets a better game here in this second week. And then now that we have that taken care of, do we want to go Andrews? Honestly, it's Andrews likely or whatever, and I don't really want to go with any of those. So I guess we'll go with QB. I'm just going to take Kyler Murray. I think he scores more points than all these other guys. And then we'll grab our tight end on the way back around. I don't really care if we get Andrews or Likely or Bowers. It's going to be one of those guys, and that's going to be our first team here. Chandra, she says, I'm hurting in my running back room. I have Mostert. Should I put Dowdle or McLaughlin in? I like McLaughlin more, especially if you're playing in a PPR league. If you play in a league where you're getting those points for the receptions, I think he's just going to give you a little bit more. The offense isn't great, but he's playing a decent role here alongside Javonte Williams. So, with Mostert hurt, I don't mind you throwing McLaughlin in a pinch. Richardson off the board, not a bad pick there either, to be honest. But we're good. We're basically down to just the tight end for us here in this one. I think probably I don't mind if we double up in Sanford. I don't really want to double up in the Sanford offense, but if we do, it's not. I guess it's not a bad idea. But I might even just go Bowers or Likely. To be honest, that's probably the move, just because I don't want to double up in the San Francisco offense this week. Give us a little bit more of a ceiling. So we'll see what gets left to us. Maybe neither of those guys get left to us, and then we're picking something else. But I think they should get left to us. It's everybody only needs one tight end, so there is no point in you trying to flex another tight end in your flex. That's a little bit different. Let's just do that. Likely or Bowers. I think I'll take. It's tough. Bowers or Likely. Do I chase the fact that we think Las Vegas is going to be down and trailing and they're going to have to throw the football, or do we just take Likely, maybe scoring a lot early based on the role he had last week? I don't expect them to be playing from behind in this game at all. So I don't know. That's going to be something we have to look at as well. Maybe we just go Bowers for the uniqueness of that. I think a lot of people will want to draft Likely this week, and maybe, because a lot of people are drafting Likely, not a lot of people will leave Bowers. It doesn't matter. He goes off the board. There's Daniels. We're going to get Likely anyways. That's going to be our selection. And then that'll give us the team with Murray, Hall, Pacheco, Chase, Ayuk, and then most likely Isaiah Likely here on this team. Where are my entertainers? Says, looks like a winning lineup to me. Good luck. Dude, it looks like a pretty solid team. I'm not going to lie. Trying to cash in a couple of these battle royales so we can get the little Trojan helmet for our avatar. Says snap counts because of saying he wants Bowers. I kind of wish we could have got Bowers, but Unfortunately, he goes to Pepper Guy, so we are going to have to just settle for the Isaiah Likely and just go from there. But yeah, just trying to put together a couple good teams here today. I think that's the idea. We cashed one of them. Last week, so we had a good lineup that paid us out a little bit of money. So it was not bad. Good week last week. One of the 3 teams we drafted, paid for all of the teams, so it wasn't bad at all. But here we go. We're gonna take Isaiah Likely. Let's see if we can do the same thing here today, and then I will just go back here while we set up the next draft. But first draft there. Brees Hall, Isaiah Pacheco, Jamar Chase, Brandon Ayuk, Kyler Murray, Isaiah Likely. Not a bad team. We'll go right back to the lobby and hit the Battle Royale again. Go right back in and rip this second one. Because like I said, I want to rip, probably 4 of them on today's stream. That'll be the goal. We'll try and rip 4. And in this one right here, we are drafting from the 4 slot. So a little bit different. I think that'll give us a good chance to get Lamb or Amon-Ra or Cup. I think we'll start this one off with wide receiver. That'll be my plan. And to be honest, I don't really have a strong preference of any of them. I think all of them can have really good weeks here this. Couple badge bros in here. We got Keegan, we got Fantasy Fanatic, we got New England Pats fan. Wonder if he's going to draft any Patriots. Maybe Ramondre Stevenson on his roster. Who knows? But we are drafting from that 4 slot. Sometimes I feel like once this is full, we don't need the full 60 seconds to sit around and wait. Maybe I'm just the crackhead that wants to just rip drafts back to back to back to back, just nonstop. But I love it, man. I love hitting these little underdog drafts. If you guys ever want to play on Underdog Fantasy, when you sign up, use the code down there. Use promo code League FFB. They'll give you I think right now it's up to $1,000. If they'll give up to $1,000 in bonus cash or something like that. They just recently changed it, but basically, if you use code League FFB when you sign up, you get some bonus cash, you get a free pick, some other stuff like that. So definitely, if you want to play, make sure you use code League FFB, and you can do the pick'ems there too. So if you like, you think James Conner's going to score a touchdown this week, you can go put some money on that as well. We'll go with Amon-Ra. Don't really understand how I was able to get Brees Hall there, but we just got him in the last one, so I want to be a little bit unique when I can. I'll take Amon-Ra. Last week wasn't great. Obviously not what you want to see out of Amon-Ra St. Brown, but that's not the norm. I think he's going to get back on track here this week. And that Tampa Bay secondary, let's just call it mediocre, and that's probably being a little bit kind. They're a little bit banged up as well, so Amon-Ra should have a pretty solid game here against Tampa Bay. And then with our second pick, if we can grab like a Rashee or a Chase or a Jefferson, that would be ideal for me. Even a Debo. I think Garrett Wilson too. If we can get any of these guys, I'm okay with any of them. And we'll just, instead of going the double, running back to start, I guess we didn't go double running back to start last one. But you get what I'm saying. Rather than going running back heavy like we did last time, we'll go wide receiver heavy. Where are my entertainers? Says, how long have you been on YouTube? Good question, man. I have been on YouTube for off and on for a while. As a kid, I always, made YouTube videos for fun, just like basketball videos. I used to play basketball growing up, and I used to like make basketball highlights of like me and my brothers out in the front yard playing on the hoop in the street, whatever. But in college, I started, doing some YouTube in like, I can't even remember the year, but I used to do YouTube in college a little bit, more so just a little bit of a funny channel. Do I take Jamar Chase and double back up? I think we're going to be a little bit exposed to Chase this week. I think people are fading him. We're going to do that. But yeah, I made some YouTube videos in college, and then I ended up switching my degree. I went to school for business administration, wanted to basically be an entrepreneur. And funny enough, I still kind of am trying to be an entrepreneur, just in the digital media space. But I switched my degree to digital media. I started working in a film studio and have been doing YouTube pretty much ever since college. But I started doing fantasy football content and making content here for this channel last February. So I guess we're a year and a half in now at this point on this channel, and have been doing it for a year and a half, the fantasy football stuff. So it's been pretty fun. Here's the thing, man. I think we're going to take... I kind of want to go Garrett Wilson. I think we're going to go Garrett Wilson. Let's go James Conner. I like James Conner's matchup, and then we'll try and get Garrett Wilson on the turnaround. You're good at it. Appreciate the content. Well, thank you, dude. I appreciate that, and I appreciate you watching. Means a lot. We recently on this channel, last night's live stream, we passed 3,000, and that was a goal that we wanted to hit by week 1. It's week 2, so close enough, I guess. Can't be mad at it. Pretty excited about it. I just want to keep growing this thing, and I appreciate everybody that comes in and watches some content, appreciates the content. Means a lot to me. So just excited to keep doing that, man. Excited to keep doing it. Well, Garrett Wilson got taken from us. That's fine. I thought there was a chance maybe we would still get Amon-Ra, Chase, and Wilson. We'll take Connor. If Gibbs falls back around, I don't mind double dipping into the Detroit offense with Gibbs. If not, I guess we'll take. I'm so scared to invest in Josh Jacobs this week, just with Malik Willis running the offense. I feel like they could legitimately put up 7 or less points this week. It's kind of scary. And Gibbs comes off the board. I'm gonna wait. I'm not gonna do that. I wanted to take Malik Neighbors last draft. I'm gonna take Malik Neighbors, and we're gonna rock with the 3 wide receivers instead of the 2 running backs in this one. We'll take Connor as the only running back on this team, and we'll just go with quarterback and tight end for the next 2 and call it a day. I'm just nervous, man. I don't know why. With Josh Jacobs, I just feel so scared. I guess I need to move him down my rankings now. You see I have him over Kamara. Looking at that, trying to make that decision, I think I actually probably would have leaned Kamara. And then Likely comes off the board, Richardson off the board. We're going to look at our quarterbacks and tight ends now because that's kind of where we're at. I don't mind getting McBride, Kittle. We don't have any Niners yet, so maybe getting Kittle in this one, maybe that's the deal for this one. So we'll grab him. I don't mind getting Daniels, Goff, Prescott. Those guys are there. If we could actually get Goff and kind of get that stack, that might be solid as well. This one's not that bad of a team either. We'll see how this one turns out. Like I said, I kind of like doing in these battle royales. I kind of like going 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, 1 quarterback, 1 tight end. But in that situation, I think we might have waited a tiny bit too long. I don't regret getting Amon-Ra and Chase. Amon-Ra and Chase was too good to pass up, but that's where we're at here. We'll take Kittle. He's going to be our tight end, and then we'll go grab our quarterback. I don't mind any of these guys. Goff, Prescott. That's the order that I would go with them if given the chance. And then we'll see what happens. Let's see. Why is everyone so high on the LAR Arizona game? Just the point total, back-to-back road games for LA with a cluster O-line injuries. No Puka. Marvin Harrison did squat. Same for McNuggets. I think the reason is because the defenses aren't great. The Los Angeles Rams, obviously they were playing a good offense last week in Detroit, but they gave up a lot of points. Jameson Williams kind of ran crazy. Also, Arizona's defense isn't great, so they probably have one of the worst defensive lines in football, if not the single worst defensive line in football. So that being said, a banged-up offensive line in Los Angeles, it's obviously worrisome for the majority of the next couple of weeks, but this game, they shouldn't have too much pressure. They should still be able to kind of perform. I don't really love the outlook for Kyron Williams running behind that line, but I still think they're going to put up points. I think the point total is still going to be fine, and it should still be a decent game. We might get a chance. I mean, we are going to get Kyler Murray here, and I think I'll just take him over Jared Goff because I just think that game's going to be better. I think he's going to have some rushing upside, and he's going to outscore Jared Goff this week. So we'll take Kyler Murray again. Didn't think that we would have the chance to grab him, but let's do it. Give us some upside. Kyler Murray, Connor, Amon-Ra, Chase, Neighbors, Kittle. That is that team for us. So we'll go into the next one here. I will wait for that one to finish. Joseph Fitness is in here. He says, would you trade away Ladd and Christian Kirk for Neighbors and Javonte? One flex PPR 12 team. My starting lineup is Burrow. Yes, I would trade away Ladd and Kirk for Neighbors and Javonte. Don't love Javante's outlook for the rest of the season, but Neighbors is the best player in that deal, and I think he has the highest ceiling of all of those players in that deal. So, yes, I would trade him away, and then if you want to try and make a secondary move for Javonte, I don't mind it at all. But Neighbors is the best player in that deal, so he's definitely somebody that I would be trying to make that trade for. CZG, he says, sorry, let me just start up this next draft. Confirm. Not right now. Here we go. He says, PPR, would you trade Garrett Wilson for Ayuk and Keenan Allen? No, I would rather have Garrett Wilson. Nino says, full PPR redraft. I'm sure CMC will be out for a while, so is trading away Pickens and Ford for Debo bad if I'm in need of wide receiver? It's not bad. It feels a tiny bit of an overpay, just a tiny bit of an overpay. Maybe if you can get another flex running back, thrown in, then you'll feel a little bit better, but I don't mind that trade. If that's the cost that it's going to be, that's the cost that it's going to be. I'm not too worried about it. Joseph says, thank you, man. Love the channel and glad you're on more BDG content. Well, I appreciate it, dude. I'm happy to actually be doing some of that BDG stuff too. So just keeping grinding, man. It's fun. It's fun. So I appreciate you watching. I appreciate you tapping in. So Joseph says CMC on IR officially. Let me just double check. I believe you, Joseph, but I gotta double check the reference. Where we at? Come on, man. News. Yep. Kyle Shanahan said yesterday that placing CMC on IR today was possible, making it likely, but it will be official today. So he does go on IR. Jordan Mason, man. Jordan Mason. Probably a top 12 play at the running back position, an RB1 for the next month of football. Very, very solid. So there you go. Lamar Jackson, first off the board, that's actually insane, to be honest. When you only need one QB, taking him as the first player, and Mahomes, what the hell are we doing here? What are we doing? This is not super flex. We're going to be able to grab somebody elite here. And we're going to get, honestly, we took Amon-Ra last time. Let's go CD or Cup. I don't mind going with either of them. I think we're going to go Cup. Nino says, appreciate that, man. Wide receivers looking rough for a 10-man over here. Rice, DJ Moore, Godwin, Pickens. It's fine. I don't mind actually you going, Cooper Kupp goes off the board. I don't mind you going Rice, Godwin, DJ Moore, Debo. That's fine, man. I think you'd be fine there. Unfortunate, but we will get CeeDee Lamb. I guess that's not unfortunate. We can't complain about CeeDee Lamb. But golly, having Lamar Jackson and Mahomes come off the board first two picks, that is a all-time fumble. I'm not going to lie to you. I like that outlook for our team. So this is the third team. If you guys have missed the first two, they'll be on the replay. We'll go over the exposures as well too when we talk about who I'm kind of invested in this week based off of these four drafts. It's very small sample size, but I think it's fun nonetheless. I just like hanging out with you guys and drafting and talking some fantasy football. Who doesn't love to draft, man? Danny, QBs are Rodgers, Fields. RBs are Cook, Achane, Ford, Aaron Jones, Mason, Jalen Wright. Wide receivers, Garrett Wilson. All right. And then the question is, would you trade Aaron Jones and Crosby Rice for Herbert and CMC? No, I would not now, especially that he's on IR. I'm not getting rid of Rashee Rice for CMC. The Herbert and the Aaron Jones thing too. It's one QB. I think your quarterbacks are fine with Rodgers and Fields for now. Fields is probably startable most weeks. Just do it to the rushing upside. Look, we don't have any Jonathan Taylor yet this week. Let's take some Jonathan Taylor. Aziz says, wonder where Mason goes in this draft now. I don't think it's gonna change. This is just for week 2 anyways. We all kind of knew that week 2 was we already knew he was out. So it's not going to change for the next couple of weeks. And in your rest of season rankings in a redraft, that's going to change quite a bit because I think we all now have confidence that Mason, for at least the next month, is going to be the starter. So it's not going to change in this draft. He's still going to, kind of sit where he sits. But he should have a decent week. Joseph, oh, here we go. One of two. Joseph says, different league, Mahomes, Pacheco, Stevenson, Ayuk, CD, London, Kincaid, Godwin, Zeke, Rome, Parkinson. It's only start one flex. Which players of mine would you package for an upgrade at running back over Stevenson or flex? Okay, so who are we packaging together? Um, would you package for an upgrade at running back over Stevenson? So, if you want to keep Stevenson, I guess you could package. I wouldn't mind throwing Rome because I think Rome is going to be viewed. Actually, I wouldn't mind throwing Worthy and Rome together and seeing if you could get somebody to buy in on the rookie hype. I wouldn't mind, throwing JMO and Worthy together to get an upgrade at running back. Kind of selling on some week one hype. I do want to sell Javonte, so if anybody still believes in Javonte, you could pair him with maybe a guy like Worthy and sell on that hype as well. So that's kind of how I would view that. But it looks like you have good enough wide receivers. We don't got to worry about Ayuk, CD, London. Like you're good there. So package some of the wide receivers is what I would do. We are on the clock. Jamar Chase or Debo? We have Jamar Chase already. Let's go with Debo here. And we'll have CD, Debo, Jonathan Taylor. And then we'll try and grab like Derrick Henry or Gibbs with our next pick. Actually, probably any of these guys I'm fine with as our next pick. Aziz says, I've got Garendo on the bench hoping for some reps tomorrow. Maybe he does, man. Maybe he does. I think, in a dynasty, he's definitely worth a stash. Most people probably already have him on their bench in dynasty, but he's a guy that you can definitely throw in there on the back end of your bench, not throw into your lineup yet. But maybe he gets touches. Also, if Jordan Mason goes down at any point, I think Garendo would probably be the next guy up. So maybe. But he is a stash right now. It's tough trying to hold like in a redraft format or something like that. Third string running back, hoping that the second string guy gets hurt as well. That's like kind of crazy. I'm not gonna lie, but Jordan Mason looks good, man. I'm not gonna lie. Henry Richardson, and then let's see what else we got. Gibbs or Connor would be the pick. I'll just let it auto so we can talk about this question. I'm fine with Gibbs being the pick here. Joseph says, you think I can package Ramondre and Godwin / Ayuk for a better RB2? Which range would be realistic? I mean, I would prefer to keep Ayuk over Godwin at the moment, but if you could trade Ramondre and Godwin together, what feels realistic? I mean, you should be able to probably be able to get into that Jahmyr Gibbs type of territory. Maybe if somebody's willing to play game, if they have injuries, maybe a James Conner, but I don't know if I want to give that up for Conner at that point. I don't know if I really want to package those two together. I think I'd rather package the two wide receivers and keep Ramondre as the running back depth, because I'd rather have another guy in that tier. Maybe you package those guys that I mentioned and maybe can try and get a Kenneth Walker while he's injured this week. That would be ideal. But something like that. I don't really I don't like the idea of throwing Ramondre in the deal with one of those that good of a wide receiver. I'd rather throw maybe Ramondre with a guy like Worthy or a guy like Jamison Williams. Aziz says, was sitting in class with Garendo last semester, and now one of us is running back for the Niners. I bet it's you, right? You're the one playing running back for the Niners. This is Garendo's burner account. Let's see what we can do. We already have our selections, so I guess we're just looking at tight end and quarterback. Unfortunately, I think Crenteria is probably going to grab Kelsey because I want Kelsey, but I'm okay with McBride. Either of them is fine with me. Let's do this. Hurry up. I'm impatient. They have 3 wide receivers as well. I guess they could go QB if they believe in one of these quarterbacks. Well, damn, didn't have that on my bingo card. Let's go Kelsey, I guess. Taylor, Gibbs, Lamb, Debo, Kelsey. That feels good. That feels really good. And then we'll be able to grab one of our QBs. If we're going to get Kyler in every draft, I'm not going to be we can't take Kyler in every draft. We already have two. We can't go Kyler every single draft. I feel like that's risky because if Kyler has a bad game, that pretty much kills every lineup this week. So we do have to diversify a little bit. Honestly, if it comes down to it between like Kyler, Goff, and Dak, I think we just lean the Goff and Dak side because we have CD and we have Gibbs, who is used in the receiving game. So, yeah, we're gonna get our choice here. Unfortunately, I think we'll go with. I think I'm gonna take Dak, and we'll try and get the CD stack here, and just rock with that one here in this week. Kyler Murray is the no-brainer pick for me there most of the time. 99 out of 100 times because I think Kyler Murray is gonna outscore Dak, but in the off chance, we got to leave. Kyler Murray's going to go undrafted here, I think, unfortunately. But in the off chance he has a bad week, I can't kill every single lineup, with that one QB. So that's where we'll be. This team is done. Third of four teams today. We have Dak, Taylor, Gibbs, Lamb with the stack for Dak, and then Deebo Samuel and Travis Kelce. So that feels like a pretty solid team as well. We'll go back over here. We'll draft one more team here. So if you are in the chat, you have any more fantasy football questions for me this morning/afternoon, let's throw those in the chat, and then we'll answer those questions before we get on out of here. We'll enter one more of these Battle Royales, pull this one back up on the screen here, and we'll be ready to go. Hopefully we're not drafting at the 4 again because we drafted 4 and 4 back-to-back, and we got the number 1. So I guess we're back-to-back. Look, number 1 on this one, we haven't taken him in any drafts. We haven't taken him in any drafts today. We'll just take Cooper Kupp. He'll be my selection. We have Lamb. We have Amon-Ra. We'll take Cooper Kupp. The thing is, we're entering a bunch of teams into the same tournament, so I don't need, all of these guys to be the same. We just need one team to outperform the others by a significant amount. That way we can cash and make some good money in this draft. So hopefully that's what we do here. Cooper Kupp, he'll be my selection. I think he's going to have a massive target share. We know that. But that being said, hopefully we can grab a guy like Brees on the way back around if he's still available. If not, we'll look other ways. We still haven't had the chance to draft a guy like Jordan Mason. Maybe Jordan Mason has a good day. We haven't had a chance to draft Kyron Williams. We haven't had a chance to draft Justin Jefferson at all, Rashee Rice at all. There's a couple guys that we haven't had the opportunity to draft. So we'll try and get a couple of those guys in this one, make this one a little bit unique. Maybe we'll get the chance at another QB as well, and then we'll be all right. AM says, actually, we're on the clock. My bad, folks. I was talking about Russian, and then, we haven't been whatever. AM427 says 12-team PBR Hurts, Achane, Pacheco, Jettas, Rashi, Parkinson, DJ Moore, Monty Ford, Ross, Jaden Reed, Dowdle, Jalen Wright, panicking on Achane, upgrade for better tight end / flex, feeling too much depth on the bench. So here's the thing. Panicking on Achane, do not. I am not panicking on Achane. I think, in fact, whether people believe it or not, I think Tua, dealing with what he's dealing with, if he misses a couple weeks, whatever it may be, I think this is only going to continue to feed Devon Achane. They're going to have to lean into the run game. They're going to have to be good there. I think Achane is a player that you just cannot move off your roster. He is a guy that I think has actual league-winning potential this year, based off of what we've seen. So as far as upgrading for a better tight end or flex, feeling like you have too much depth on the bench, you want to pair some pieces together on the bench, maybe Jaden Reed and Moss, or maybe you want to trade Ford and Jaden Reed together and upgrade to a really solid wide receiver. That's fine, but I don't think you have too much depth. I think you're great where you're at, and I'm not panicking on Achane at all. So that's where we're at. Let's see what we can do with these picks. I see we got a couple more questions in here, and then we'll go on to the next one. We have some Pacheco already, right? Garrett Wilson comes off. Why don't we go Pacheco? Do I want to go Henry? We're going to go Taylor. I feel more confident in Taylor in this game, especially because, like I said, they might beat the hell out of Green Bay, and he could be running the football a lot in the second half. So we'll go Pacheco and Taylor with Cooper Kupp, see how that does. And then on our way back around, maybe we'll look at the wide receiver, quarterback, tight end. We'll look at those positions and see what we can do there. With the next question, Joseph says, best hold for running back, wide receiver, bench depth. Currently have Dobbs, Bigsby, Chase Brown, and a 12 team we talked about above. A.D. Mitchell, Tyler Johnson, Rico Downs, Wando. Who's the best hold for running back, wide receiver, bench depth? The best hold on this roster? Like, you want me to pick the guy on the roster, or you just want me to pick anybody who's the best hold in fantasy? Because that's a little bit tougher, I think, to pick without knowing some context. But the best hold on this team at the moment would be probably Bigsby and A.D. Mitchell and Downs. A.D. Mitchell, Downs, and Bigsby, those would be the top three that we talk. I would say of this list are the best holds of the moment. Taylor says, hey, Andrew, love the content. Need 2 flex. Judy, Spears, Watson, Yoshavash, Rome if he's healthy. Rome's interesting. We're kind of going to wait and see what happens with Rome's. If he plays and Keenan's out, you throw him in the lineup. But I think probably Watson and Judy are the guys that I would play in this one, unfortunately. I don't love those options, but I think those would be the 2 plays. But if Rome plays and Keenan doesn't, you go Rome and Watson. That's what I would do. Gerald says was offered Ayuk, Diggs, and Pacheco for A.J. Brown and Rice. Should I do it? I want the A.J. Brown and Rice side. It's not close for me. He says, I do need another running back. I have Bijan, but my other running back is Amir White. Yeah, I'm not moving A.J. Brown and Rice. I'd rather move another piece to try and go get a different running back. I'm not making that deal. Joseph says, in the 10-teamer, start Godwin or London in the 1 flex spot. I like London more this week. I know Godwin had the better week last week, but I still like London this week. Here we are. I think we'll go with McBride at tight end, and then at wide receiver we need to go. Well, do we have any good options here? Olave, Godwin. I think I'm going to buy into Ayuk again. Risky, but I'm going to do it. Cooper and Ayuk. This is kind of similar to that first team. So with Pacheco and Ayuk, I think those guys were on the same team in the first one. So this could get a little bit sketchy. But I'm going to try and go Daniels. Never mind. Goff maybe, because we don't have any Goff. We'll go Goff maybe. And if not, maybe what we just do is dip deep and try and get you can't pass up Kyler and McBride stack. Even though I said we have a ton of him, we might have to just really gamble on Kyler this week. He should have a solid floor. Gerald says I was offered Ayuk, Diggs, and Pacheco for A.J. Brown and Rice. I think we just answered that one. Yeah, so we already answered that one. No, I would not do that trade. Man, kind of fumbled. I feel like we kind of fumbled the second one. Maybe not. This team still feels good, though. Pacheco, Taylor, Kupp, Ayuk, McBride. It still feels good, but I feel like we might have low-key fumbled this one just because we have a team that is similar to this one. But we'll look at the exposures here in a second for the week and see what happens. But Andrew's off the board, White off the board. We're going to get down to our QB, and there's only one other team. Juxton needs the QB as well, and then we're the only other team. So we should get one of these 2 guys no matter what. We'll hope that it's Goff or Kyler. I hope that it's Goff, but there you go. Didn't even have to make the decision for us. The only issue with Goff is that, they run a couple of these touchdowns in instead of pass them in, and then we're looking at him at the end of the week like, wish he could have done a little bit more. But we'll still take him. We don't have any correlation to him on this team, unfortunately, but that's fine. Goff, bang. Let's look at the exposures for the main slate. These are 4 teams, 3 quarterbacks, 5 running backs, 7 wide receivers, 4 tight ends. We got Ayuk on 2 teams, Pacheco on 2 teams, Chase on 2 teams, Murray on 2 teams, Taylor on 2 teams. These 5 players, in order for us to have a good day, in order for us to, make some money in this tournament today, Ayuk, Pacheco, Chase, Murray, and Taylor have to have good fantasy football days tomorrow. Then we have Kupp, McBride, Debo. All these other guys are just one teams. It is what it is. But these 5 players, Ayuk, Chase, Pacheco, Murray, Taylor, those are the players that we need to have good days here tomorrow afternoon. That said, folks, that is going to be the stream for today. As I mentioned, every Saturday we are going to be doing a few of these drafts on stream with you folks. It's not going to be that long. I think today's about 40 minutes, 45 minutes. We'll answer your questions as they come in. Just chill, draft some fantasy teams, talk about week 2, talk about, whatever you got going on in your fantasy football leagues. But if you spent some time with me here today, I appreciate you. Thank you for, allowing me to have a little bit of your time. If you are still in here, if you haven't hit the like button, please go down and hit that like button for me. It is the best free way to show this channel some support. It really does actually help us grow. So make sure you go hit that like button. Also, make sure you are subscribed. We just passed 3,000. It's a while away, but the next goal obviously is going to be 4,000. We want to get there, and then 5,000 and 10,000, whatever. We're going to keep growing this thing and keep trying to help you guys win some fantasy football championships. So thank you for spending some time with me. Thank you for chatting with me. Thank you for allowing me to hang out with you today, and thank you for hanging out with me. We will see you guys on the next one. Joseph says, have a good day. That is damn right. You guys go have a good day. I'm going to have a good day. And like I said, we'll see you on the next one. But until then, peace out.